Welcome back to the Focus Podcast. Today we have Anash Veswani, excuse me, with Ignite Marketing. That's Ignite with an E. And Anash, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Mario. Excited to be here.
Yeah. Definitely. As soon as I walked in the room and you were here, I was just already lit up. Like you're just such a great guy. Very cool. We met at a networking function,
Yeah.
and right away just hit it off. We're in very similar spaces, so I'm very glad that you can come on the show. Been loving your LinkedIn content, Facebook content, um, and the reviews really speak for themselves. So I'm excited to dig in. I know your specialty is lead generation, Facebook ads, those kind of things, and definitely at the end give you an opportunity to kind of share more about that. But to kind of kick it off, so we do video production.
Mhm.
That's our sole purpose.
Right.
And if you go on Instagram and Facebook, you see a lot of video ads.
Mm.
So kind of tell us, what are the types of videos that are working best when it comes to Facebook ads, Instagram ads, those kind of things.
Yeah. So the long format, like just the format wise, the dimensions should be like it should fit the cell phone one. The vertical videos do really well. And honestly, now it's the shortest video works pretty well. So 30 seconds is still working well, but what I'm finding, if I can even narrow it or make it shorter to 15 seconds, that tends to work better. Now we're living in the world of TikTok, right? Everyone's attention span is 5 seconds, right? But for an ad to be effective, especially a video ad, you're looking at doing something which is pretty to the point. In the first 5 seconds, you should present what's the solution, right? Or what
Right.
the problem is. Like you should get to your call to action in that first 5 seconds, because when people are scrolling, they're not really paying attention. The other part that I always tell everyone is the subtitles, because almost 80% of videos that go people are watching, they're watching on their mobile device and they're watching it on mute. So, you know, someone might be sitting in their office scrolling, someone might
Yeah.
be in bed and doesn't want to disturb their partner, but a lot of people are watching it on mute. So if you don't have a subtitles, like Facebook, I think, does it automatically. It adds in, YouTube adds in those subtitles, but for ads itself, have subtitles. Make it short, make it vertical length, and have your call to action early on in the video so you can capture someone's attention and then build on it. And a lot of people try to get their entire message in that 15 or 30 seconds. And I always tell them that's not the purpose of the video, especially for ads, right? If you're doing branding videos like what you do, it's a different setup.
Right.
But for ads, have a hook, have a catch, have a solution, and that's it. And then if they're interested, they'll read the caption, they'll read the actual ad. And that's where both in tandem together, they work together well. And that's how you're gonna get people's attention.
That's so good, and I did not realize that they had to be as short as 15 seconds, because I haven't been in that
Yeah.
ad space.
Yeah.
We've been in more the vertical, ongoing
Right.
content.
Right.
So wow, that's interesting, but that makes sense because when I scroll, I do the same thing. You're,
Right.
you're looking for that hook.
Yeah.
What's gonna stop me for a second, and then getting into that minutia there. On the subtitles, this is something that we've been doing for clients as well, as far as if they need social media short form content,
Mhm.
and I've seen it go both ways. To where, and my question to you is, do you recommend having the subtitles in the video like edited like in post, or do you recommend having it more raw and then letting the platform and using their subtitles, meaning like Facebook's
Yeah,
subtitles
service.
or
Yeah.
Instagram?
I always say edit it, because what I've, at least in my experience, and whenever you upload those, the automatic from Facebook, YouTube, sometimes they will misspell a word or they are not picking up the actual word, like what for whatever reason, right? So it's better to just have your own subtitles. You control it, you can edit that in, and you make sure that it fits with your uh, whatever you're saying on in that ad. So I always recommend do that. And that's the number one thing where a lot of people don't pay attention to minor details, like, hey, are the subtitles there? Is your branding right? Are you using the same colors as your brand guidelines? And if you don't have a brand guideline, even having basic, like if you're using, your logo has red and orange or blue and white, use blue and white in your videos, right? So minor things, but to as far as ads are concerned, yeah, let's get to the point fast.
Yes.
Otherwise, you're gonna miss the audience, and you're gonna miss the person's attention, which is what the ad is supposed to do.
Okay, beautiful. And that helps a ton because we do have a client we're doing some monthly stuff for, and they use it for TikTok and things. So we're not doing any other the posting for them,
Yeah,
but we do the editing for them.
right.
And so you're right. And sometimes we have to catch it and post on the subtitles
Yeah,
and the brand colors. That's a great point on that as well. So it sounds like if you just upload it to Facebook, some things could go wrong. If you're not having your brand colors in there, that's not great. So what are some mistakes that DIY people try to do? Because a lot of people in Facebook and
mm,
Instagram, I mean, you can get some good views for like $5 a day,
yeah,
something crazy. So there are a lot of people out there like, oh, I'm just gonna do this myself.
yeah, yeah,
What are some of the biggest mistakes that you see when people are like, okay, I've tried this for months, I got nothing.
yeah,
Anash finally helped me.
yeah.
What are the mistakes that they're making on their own?
Yeah, so I think the biggest mistake there that people try or do is they're trying to do too much, right? That's the number one thing that I see it, especially for ads, is they're trying to go at it from multiple different angles, and they're trying to solve everyone's problems in that 30 seconds or even in their ads itself. So I think less is more, and figure out who your audience is and what's their number one pain point, right? You could, yes, you could do five different things in that one service, or that one product can do five different things, but that's not the purpose of the ad. The purpose of the ad, or you posting videos, is to solve one problem. So take, if you are able to say, hey, here are the three primary audiences and three different problems that I can solve for them, then that means you need three different videos, three different ads, three different personas. When people try to combine them, is that's when they get in trouble, right? And that's when it's not effective, because when you're talking to everyone, you're talking to no one, right?
Yep.
That's the number one thing that I see. And whenever I talk to even my clients when they're coming on board, and I always ask them, who's your audience and what's the problem that you're solving? And they kind of, when they don't have it in a quick 3 or 4 sentence, then I know I'm in trouble, because they're all well-meaning, they're good people, but they're all over the place, and that's what reflects in the ads. So just an example, I'm working with a business coach, and she can work with a whole bunch of different business owners, realtors, a whole bunch of different industries. But her bread and butter is realtors. That's what she works with.
Okay.
So instead of us going after business owners, which is general and could be anyone, we decided to just focus on real estate professionals and narrow it down. And the video she did talks to the problems that real estate professionals have and how she can solve it. So we put everything apart, and we just said, hey, let's just focus on this. So that's I think where there's opportunity for a lot of folks to improve and get better at.
No, that's so good because there are, like they say, riches in the niches, and
Mhm.
when you can like really niche down and talk to that person. I know for me, it can be kind of scary, but a good scary when you're just looking at your phone. You're like, how did they know? Are they reading my mail? Like, how did they know that? Are you a videographer that could use more business? I'm like, yeah, I could. That's me. And so,
Yeah.
you are right. But if they just broadly said, business owner,
Yeah.
then they may not resonate.
Yeah.
Um, are you seeing a trend in like landing pages versus Google Forms and all that? I know for me, one of the mistakes I was making in the past was just like sending them to a basic, website
Yeah.
without, you know, the landing page being right and all those kind of things. Can you talk a little bit about just once they click, what happens?
Yeah, sure. So it all depends on what kind of information do you want to get, and also how deep do you want to get in that pre-qualification, right? So when let's say we work with a mortgage broker or a roofing company, we want the lead to be more qualified and we want to collect a lot of information up front. So if that's the niche where you are, if that niche needs a lot of information, then directing traffic to a landing page makes sense where you can collect a lot more information
Yeah.
and also be able to retarget them. So let's say someone clicks on the ad, it goes to a landing page, they might fill out the form halfway through and bounce. We can retarget them again saying, hey, you need to come back. It's just like you go to a website, bounce, you get those ads again. So for some niches where you need more information, send traffic to a landing page. Places like, let's say you're a restaurant or a yoga studio who just wants to give out a coupon and you don't need a lot of information, use Facebook forms, right? And Facebook forms is where the trend is, to be honest. 5 years ago, 6 years ago, a lot of traffic was going off Facebook, and Facebook kind of frowned upon it and almost kind of throttled the traffic to landing pages. And as we stand right now, your cost per lead from landing pages is always going to be higher, but the quality of lead and intent is better versus Facebook lead forms. Now, on lead form, you can make it a little bit difficult, which I always say, hey, even if it's a restaurant just collecting name, phone number, email, ask them something else, right? When is your birthday? Have them input a birthday so that you can collect and create a birthday club for your restaurant.
Yeah.
But put something in there where they have to literally physically punch in something, right? Ask 2 or 3 qualifying questions on Facebook forms and collect their information, and then make sure that you have a system to follow up, because that's the number one thing that I've seen. And I started this 7 years ago when I wasn't really doing the follow up for my clients,
Yeah.
right? I was basically generating a lead, and then the clients would say, oh, these leads suck. Well, in reality, they didn't suck. The follow up sucked. And
Mhm.
no matter how good the person is with follow up, it's always going to fall by the wayside because we are all busy. So now my program and my setup, I never just generate a lead. I am automatically setting everyone with automated text, email, and voicemail drop set up for each client. So when the lead comes in, they're going to get a text, they're going to get an email, and we're going to continue to text and email them for the next, 3, 4, 5 days to keep the conversation going. But again, coming back to your question, is what is it, landing page or Facebook form? I think it depends
Yeah.
on the niche and what kind of information you want to do. But if you're just starting out, I think Facebook forms is the best way to move forward. But make sure you collect and make sure you have some sort of qualifying questions up front
Yeah.
to get a little bit better quality of lead, instead of someone just saying, hey, I didn't even know I clicked on it and filled out a form.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I love that, and I love the customized approach you take to where it's like, okay, what's best for this particular client,
Right.
as opposed to just a cookie cutter solution for everyone.
Right.
And I do like the fact you have integrity enough sometimes to say, hey, this may not be ads may not be ready. You may not be ready for ads,
Yeah.
right now. So I've always enjoyed that about you. Tell us on the platforms. I mean, you can run ads on so many platforms now. And I know the answer is probably there's some nuance,
Mhm.
and I'm sure it just depends, right? But what are the best platforms to be running ads on nowadays?
Yeah, it again becomes depends on the intent, right, and your
Hmm.
service, right? So we need to understand Google versus Facebook, right? Those are the two big ones that attract majority of the ad spend, irrespective of where you are. But Google is, if your service is something urgent and if someone's seeking a solution right away, Google is the best place to be. So an example would be a plumber, right? If if there's a water leak, if you need someone, you're going on Google. You're not wasting time on Facebook,
Right.
right? Electrician, something like a garage door repair. My garage door doesn't open. I'm going to Google. I'm going to find the first one, click on it, go for it. So intent is what you need to understand is if your potential client, what is their intent? Are they going to find you in real time or right away?
Hmm.
Or if it's something more discretionary, right? A restaurant or like I talked about, a yoga studio or something that doesn't need to be right away, but if it comes in my news feed, it's good to see, oh, okay, this is interesting. Like I'm looking for a home and a realtor comes up with a great offer saying, hey, I have a free list of homes. Hey, okay, I'm interested. I'm looking for homes. I'm gonna click on that ad and go for it, right?
Hmm.
So depending on that setup, Google's is good for immediate, but if it's something else, Facebook is better. On the cost per lead is always going to be higher with Google because you're going to compete if you're in a crowded space like chiropractor or a dentist.
Yeah.
You can be on Google, but you're going to be going up against some larger national companies, and your cost per lead is going to be higher, but the intent is higher too. So you're going to pay more for slightly better quality leads,
Yeah.
but at the same time, you can spend probably that same money on Facebook, get a lower intent, but more quantity. And then you should have a way to move them down the funnel because generating a lead is step one, but how do you get them to kind of convert, right?
Yeah.
And again, I always say Facebook and Instagram has a lot more capabilities with targeting, which is what I like about Facebook and Instagram,
Right.
is we can be very minutia. I can target a male age 30
Yep.
driving a Mercedes in this zip code, right? And if that's your audience, then it's that minutia and that detailed, which
Yeah.
is the good part about Facebook and Instagram, where you can have a lot of targeting options, and that's why it kind of works well for, especially for B2C consumers. It's a good place to be.
No, I love that, and I love the how you broke down the intent. Because again, no one's casually looking for a plumber. Like, oh,
Yeah.
you know what? Let's just
Yeah.
read some
That's
plumbing
what it
blogs
was.
today.
Yeah.
So they're ready.
Yeah.
They need to do something.
Yeah.
And then so it may not make sense for them to invest, heavily, on Facebook because you're not just scrolling going, oh, my faucet all of a sudden
Yeah.
is broken. So those are great for like you said, restaurants, apparel. I know I've just been casually scrolling and been like, not even in the market for a jacket, and be like, oh, well,
Yeah.
that looks cool. It's
Yeah.
on sale, and so they got me.
Right. Right.
So no, those that's all interesting breakdowns. I love it. I've learned a lot today.
Yeah.
I know that I've always learned something every time we talk. So if someone's listening to this or watching on YouTube, and they're like, "Yep, I'm ready.
Yeah.
It's time. I'm tired of doing this myself. I'm tired of sitting on the sidelines. I need to take advantage of investing in online ads." What's the next step for them to contact you, and what's that process look like?
Yeah, they can check out my website. It's ignitemarketing.com, and Ignite is with an E, so it's just replace, instead of I, put E,
Okay.
and ignitemarketing.com, and there's a form there. They can look me up on LinkedIn. I'm on all social media. I'm trying to be better, take my own advice, and be active. But yeah, just search for Ignite Marketing. Contact me via the form on there, and I'm happy to talk to anyone. I have a free 30-minute consultation, which is not a sales call. It's actually a consultation. And like you said, Mario, we've talked, and I'll tell you the honest response, right? If I can
Yes.
help you, if it's a good fit, I'm happy to work. If not, I can probably direct you in the right direction, saying, hey, maybe this is a better fit for you. But that's where all my information is.
Awesome, awesome. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on. I highly recommend anyone listening or watching definitely reach out to Anash. Look him up, look up the company. The social proof speaks for itself. Reviews after reviews after reviews with case studies, actual business being done. So I'm very glad that you came on and shared your knowledge with our audience. If you're looking to get some more leads for your business and really take your business to the next level, give Ignite Marketing a call. Until next time, I am Mario Wilson with 12 Media Group, where we put your brand in focus.